Well, I want to return to our top story of that shocking video that's been released showing how UN and other ambulance vehicles were shot at by Israeli forces. I'm joined from Sydney by Nasser Mashni. He's the president of the Australia-Palestine Advocacy Network. I take it, Nasser, you're not surprised by what this video reveals?
Not surprised at all. It's in fact Israel's standard playbook. They assassinate, they kill, they murder, they rape, and then deny it happened. And then when they're caught, they then say, are you sure? And then they say it's terrorists or Hamas. Then they'll say they'll investigate, and nothing ever comes of the investigation. It's an indictment on the rest of the world that Israel's been allowed to get away with this now for 18 months in Gaza, but 77 years in Palestine. Anytime an Israeli spokesperson opens their mouths, we should believe that the first thing that comes out of there is a lie.
Look, we don't know the exact ins and outs of the Israeli chain of command and what led up to this. But one has to ask, why not just admit they made a terrible mistake? Wouldn't that be better for Israel, better for their PR, better for them overall in terms of international relations and how they're perceived?
Firstly, I think we need to go back and address this issue. Israel doesn't concern itself with how the world sees itself. It only concerns itself with what America and its Western allies that enable this genocide. They're not concerned with what lay people think, what you and I think, Charlotte. They only care about their genocidal campaign, which is aided and abetted by a West that continues to give Israel the legitimacy that it craves, diplomatic legitimacy, military legitimacy, and media legitimacy. It's never going to admit it made a mistake, because genocides are when you are actively looking to wipe out an entire people. Benjamin Netanyahu is clear, categoric. He wants to enact Donald Trump's plan to evacuate or create the circumstances where every Gazan in Gaza, every Palestinian in Gaza leaves. There's no room for them to be apologising. They're not going to apologise. From Shireen Abu Akleh to every Palestinian journalist that has been assassinated, to the medics, to the Palestinians that are hostages in the Israeli gulags, raped to death, starved. This is a genocidal, racist regime hell-bent on destroying Palestinians, every last one of them, every last grain of resistance. It's time for the world to hold itself to a higher standard and to intervene. We need military action. This country is not going to stop on its own.
I mean, you say it only really cares about what its allies like the US and other Western powers think. That said, this incident is now being raised at the highest levels of the UN. I understand at the Security Council also, and that indeed is where this video ultimately originated from, a leak from there at the highest level. So international parties are going to have to pay attention to what happened here and what it means in terms of Israel's attitude, and surely it will prompt more questions around the commission of war crimes in Gaza.
Well, firstly, you have to say, why did it have to be leaked? It had to be leaked because the people in the UN know that they can't actually broadcast it themselves. That Israel and its allies in the United States, etc., have done everything they can to discredit the United Nations, to see it as a voice that is partisan in support of the Palestinians. We need to be very clear. The concept of what is happening in Gaza today happens because the West allows it to happen. Israel's not concerning itself with what people think. It only cares about what racist genocidal supporters are thinking. I mean, we spoke a couple of days ago about Benjamin Netanyahu going to Hungary. I mean, where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? It was a fleeting moment. Don't worry about the lies that Israel said about the 40 beheaded babies. President Biden said he'd seen that picture. We know this was a lie. The systematic rapes, a lie. Every accusation Israel puts about the Palestinians ends up being a confession. What we do know is that there have been Palestinian babies beheaded by Israeli armaments. What we do know is that Palestinians have been raped to death by Israeli prison guards. Israel's not concerning itself with what a press report. They're only concerned about all of Palestine with as few Palestinians as possible. That's what settler colonialism is. That's what racist genocidal states and countries do. And it's time for the world to boycott this country, to divest from it, and to sanction it, as we did in apartheid South Africa. The Zionist regime as it exists today must end.
OK, Nasser Mashni, great to talk to you again from Sydney. Thank you so much.